Hey guys, I am Zone. This is Gamers Oasis. Give me a second here while I get set up. I'm going to just make sure we have everything up and going the way I like it. Takes a second for it to get kicked up over here. There we go. Perfect. I see we got someone watching. Thank you for joining me. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to get everything up and going, and then we'll go ahead and get this thing started. I'll talk about this in a later video, but since this part will be cut out, my wife bought me this Ori Future. It's at first I thought it was a like some sort of like cold brew maker thing, but it's not. It's I don't know if you can see that. It's a D20 ice cube maker. So you put this in the freezer and it freezes it, and then you got yourself one massive D20 that you could have rolling around your dice, roll around your drink while you're drinking, which is pretty fun, and definitely something I think would be really good to go if it fits in here with my cup. I think that's going to make for a great addition to the live stream. So definitely looking forward to that. Put that over here for right now. Speaking of which, I'll have to get me some more. I need to not chew ice while I'm live streaming. It's a little loud, a little obnoxious, whatever you want to call it. I want to get everything set up here. So how's your guys' week been? I posted some comments. I want to check and see if anyone responded to it before I get started, because we were talking about the pools in that one room. Of course, I'm getting a phone call. Give me 1 second. Hey, babe.
Hey, will you tell me how to turn this up?
Oh, there's a little slider. You just gotta push the slider up. The one that's got the light off.
The no touch one?
No, to the left of that. You'll see one that says PC.
Alright, I'm gonna hit silence. I need silence so I can hear.
You good?
Got it, thank you.
Alright, love you, bye. Alright, I'm back. My wife was asking me a technical question about something I do with my other job. Okay. So I put up a couple posts on the community posts, and in there, looks like 83% say that orcs must die. 1 or 17%, whatever you want to call that, say leave the orcs tied up in another room. So the orcs need to be dispatched and not allowed to potentially come back. That was the way. There was 2 orcs that were there that the party was going to try and figure out what to do with it. And then there was a centipede, a giant centipede, and basically the party's thought was they're just going to kill the centipede and move on. So that is where we were. We were going to go through a secret room. We had found the inside. We were on the inside of it, and we were going to use that to get through into another room. They don't actually know what room it is yet, but when they got through that room, they were going to be able to essentially continue their exploration. But their side is where the secret door access is. It's designed to be like a pass-through. So they found the hard entrance, and now they've got basically the doorknob, and they expect this to go into a room that probably has a secret door on the other side, so they may not be able to get back. This could be a one-way door. This could be a number of things like that. Looks like we have one here. Oh, hey there, and welcome. Usually people show up a little bit into it. We're a smaller channel, so we don't necessarily have the biggest audience, but having 6 people or so is fairly standard. After that, we'll have some more people watch it on basically like the replay or when it stops being a live stream, and we'll move forward. If you didn't catch last time, we had a death. So the evangelist died after doing a really good deed, and he died to 3 kobolds that shot him with a bow, which is unfortunate. One of them rolled a 20, so double damage. And now the party is getting ready to continue on, like I was just saying. So I'm going to go ahead and do some hear noise checks real quick with the 2 people that are going to be in the front, and make sure I got my order is still the same. I need to remove the evangelist. I'm sure. So we have Oddberg, the level 3 cleric. We have Ranilda, who is a level 2 magic user, female. Then we have Indo, the level 2 thief. And then we have a level 1 cleric named Oddwald. And the evangelist died, so he is no longer here. But we're going to keep it the same. No, I want to change this a little bit, because we were rotating out. So far, Oddberg has been in the front. So we're going to have Indo is going to be up front with Oddwald, or Awald, excuse me. And then we'll have Oddberg. And then we're going to have TS, which is Torch with Sword, and Ronilda. And then we have BT, which is, or TB, which is Torch with Bow. And those are the NPCs. And then, of course, Ronilda has her own guard, her own personal guard. And that will be the guy with a sword out, as you see him. Okay. So I got my party. Make sure that's all I need. Yep, we're good. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and switch cameras real quick so you can see some of the positioning and that type of stuff. Perfect. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put this down over here. Oh, I got to kill the overhead light. It's good for trying to cut down lag, but it's too bright over here for the dice. When you put dice in there, it gets a little blurry and hard to see. But when I kill the light, it becomes easier to see, especially the pink dice. And it makes this a little bit more readable. So I'm still working a little bit on the how the lighting works and everything. However, I will work on that more later. Okay, so here's what we're doing. Hear noise. We're going to have this again. Endo is going to be pink. That makes the purple is going to be oddwald or AWOLD. So AWOLD is actually going to hear it, and Endo will not, even as a level 2 thief, if there's anything in there. And I don't know. So that room is 25. I need to go pull my card. I've got the card, I've got each room labeled. So 25 might have already been pulled. Oh, yeah. 25 is pulled. I want to say 25's in here. Here's 25. Here's inside my book. I just lost my page, but that's fine. Okay. 25 is the one right after this. Yes. I need to look in here and see if there's any monsters. I need to go ahead and put down some sort of tile or whatever. Okay. Interesting. So I'm reading real quick while I figure this out. Okay, so they do not hear anything inside there. This allows them to be able to go ahead and open the door. Let me go ahead and put down a tile and whatnot, and we'll go from there. Go ahead and put this down like that. Two, 3, 4, 5. So you really need something like this. And that's right. There we go. I'll get back to what it says on the inside of the room once I get some miniature set up. So I kind of got this set up long ways. It really should be more like this, but that makes it just a little difficult to get on the screen. I am going to set it up like that. Then we have a room coming off like this, and it's going to be right here. So we have Oddbird here. He is, oops, you can't even see Oddbird. I'm going to slide everything forward. So we have Oddberg, then we have Indo, and we have Awald. We have Torch with Bow back here. Torch with Sword. It's going to be right here. Then we have Ronilda, and the guard is going to be facing backwards. It's going to be facing towards me. We need to put down some torch counters. We were at 1s. So we have that over here. You can see that a little bit there. And that is our counters. So they do not hear anything inside there. Indo would have made the roll if he needed to. He's going to go ahead and open the door. I have to still roll a check to see if the door is going to be stuck, because they're good guys, not bad guys. Indo goes, or the AWOL goes, then we're going to have the Torchbearer give it a shot, and then we'll give Oddbird give it a shot, and we have Ronilda give it a shot. Hey, there we go, finally. I'm not a huge fan of this keep rolling dice stuff. I think in the future I'm probably going to change that a little bit, but for this edition I'm going to continue doing it. So finally Ronilda is able to get the door to open. I think maybe a better way of doing it is just have like a dice for each character and have it colored, if that makes sense. Let me go ahead and read the room as it opens. This is not the normal route to this room, by the way. So this set of chambers is a rather simple and Spartan. If I read the right one, yes, okay. Showing their taste for utilitarian, versus regal. The curved walls, so these walls are not perfectly square, they are curved. What else was that? The curved walls of the room immediately and noticeably are different than the other rooms of the stronghold that you are within. The layout becomes their is covered with vertical strips of rough finished fir wood. These narrow planks run in a single piece from floor to ceiling. The construction is not remarkable, nor is it fancier than any of the other wood. Removing it from the wall, okay, so this is part of the problem with box text back in the day. In each of the four corners, though, there is a different wall hanging, I guess, picture or something, tapestry or something. It says wall hanging, and then period, and then it goes. These tapestry are each 6 feet wide and approximately 8 feet tall. The four subjects depicted are of a dragon being slain by a group of warriors, with one standing prominently in the front of the group, thrusting the killing sword towards the dragon's neck. A great battle in a mountain pass with a small band of fighters led by a great wizard and a single hero pulling an entire army to fight. A warrior and a maiden on horseback against the backdrop of mountains holding hands with joyful expressions, and a depiction of a hero and a wizard joining into a firm hand clasp on top of a deserted hilltop. Okay. So some of these, I guess, we're going to have titles. The wizard is named Zeligar, and the beautiful maiden on the is the fair Melissa. If you remember, Melissa was the depicted in the previous room that adjoined this room, with a large, robust man who apparently they are an item. These tapestries are still heavy and bulky, as they are well made and are still of considerable weight. So, across the way from the door we entered, actually, no, to the right of the door we entered, because there's a second secret door. They just didn't find that one. But from the inside, you can see it. There is a bed which is made of maple with a feather mattress by all appearances. You've seen feather mattresses, they are on the higher end of things. You may or may not have actually slept in any of them. The baseboard has an engraving on it with the letter R. But the bed is otherwise devoid of particular details. Standing free is a cabinet of matching wood, so made of maple. The bed is alongside this cabinet, and the garments are of a general cloak, a vest, and a buckskin shirt. There's a metal corset, and etc., as well as other things in there, as well as a pair of boots. None of these seem to be of exceptional value or quality. There's a wooden stool near the cabinet, but there is no other furniture in the room. Okay. So we have been pulling a lot of things out of this place, art-wise. We've taken pictures, we've taken tapestries. I'm going to say they're probably going to do the same thing here. And I would say that with the deceased that they have already, there's probably a good reason to head back to the village of Axe Head, take a break, maybe find a replacement, and to store some of these items so that they might be used in the future, if that makes sense, or be sold or something of that nature. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to roll two dice, and I'm going to say anything other than like super low is going to be it. I'm going to use this pink dice as an inverted wild dice. So if the pink one rolls low, especially, then we're going to say they're going to do something different. I think the play to make is to use the fact that there is a sage somewhat available to him to try and figure out these pools and not be so brazen to just go after these pools. They've seen a lot of people die, and one of which was inside that pool room, actually. So, all right, so we rolled high, and we did not roll anything crazy on the wild dice. So we're going to go ahead and start making our way out. They're going to take the tapestries, roll them up together. There's nothing else of any value per se in here. Now the question is, how long does it take to get out of here? Are they going to go back the way they came? Or are they going to go out the second, what they know to be a secret entrance? High is they go out, low they go back the way they came. High. So they think they know where they're going, because though they don't know where this exit goes, they've kind of mapped a lot of this area, and they feel like they got to come out back close to where they were. And indeed they do. So basically, that long hallway coming off of the main hallway where they broke the secret door, that is the hallway they enter back into. And it's actually at the very end. Very hard to try and depict on this little bit of a map. but it puts them a lot closer to the exit than actually going all the way back the way they came into this room. And if they would have found this room in the very beginning, that probably would have helped assist them get through this faster. But we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 16 to the main hallway. So it's 160 feet to the main hallway. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they would know that it's 280 feet basically to the front door. Are they going to be slow and methodical, or are they going to just try and make it out in like 3 turns? Here's for slow. 4, 5, or 6. So they are not. They believe that they have found all the traps and they're just going to go. So they're going to move not quite what they would want to move. What they want to move is 120 feet. But they do have 2 people who are encumbered. And in this version of being encumbered, it works kind of like, well, it doesn't work kind of like this. It works like this. So if you are armored, you move at 3/4 move, which would be 90 feet a turn. If you are armored and encumbered, then you move at half. And if you are encumbered, you move at 90 feet. So the people who are in armor, plate mail, chain mail, they're going to move at 90 feet. And the unarmored ones are going to move at 90 feet because they'll be carrying stuff, most likely. I mean, it just makes sense. I'm going to say, actually, it's worse than that, because they have a whole dead body with them. So I'm going to say they have to move at 60 feet anyways. So we're looking at 5 turns to get completely out, which is going to be 2 wandering monsters encounters. So pink is first, purple is second. Oh no! Well, let me see what it is. First one, 6. Okay. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Hello, and sorry about that. Hey there, Steve. How you doing? And Robbie, if you happen to be there, welcome. Glad to see you guys. Yeah, I was just getting ready to do this. I need to do a reaction check. I just had a wandering monster. Before I got into potentially a fight, I wanted to take care of a couple things real quick. Here's for how many there are. I'm going to roll a dice. Okay, lets me know. And here's for the monster reaction. They're pretty pessimistic about the whole thing. I think that's going to be a fight. Maybe. All right, so what's going to happen is this. Let me go ahead and get this out of the way. The party is traveling. We're going to be at turn 3. This is the first one. We have, for those of you that were just joining us, we ended up having 2 wandering monster encounters. On the way out. And this doorway is jammed open. These go off into very far distances on both sides. So over here it goes into very far distance, and then this way here it goes into the main hallway. And then you grab a miniature. Yeah, find my miniature at least. I was going through, it's not going to be that one. That one I know. I haven't got my box labeled yet, and I haven't got them in a better position yet. But they will be. I want to get out my label maker and actually label my boxes on the side so I can see it. And I would like to be able to have them so I didn't have to reach into my camera or behind over here. I just need more space. It might be in this box set. Yes, here they are. Excuse me while I fix this. My box. So I've been painting a lot of new miniatures, and some of my new miniatures need to be left open to the air. Because they have built up a smell of the sealant. So when you open it, it's like, boof, big sealant smell in the face. Okay, so from down here at the edge of the torchlight, I'm going to put them in screen so you can see them, are 2 barbaric looking dudes with big 2-handed swords, heavy weapons that are going to stand at the edge of torchlight and are going to demand that the party toss them a bag of gold or proper food and then walk away. Here's for the charisma on that. It's moderate, so I'm I'm going to say that they probably have some ability to do that. It's going to be really up to the party, obviously. They don't come off as incredibly weak or whatever. They are asking for what would be considered probably fairly relatively inexpensive versus getting into a fight. So I'm going to give a couple dice rolls. This isn't a these are individual rolls. These are not like a monster reaction roll. First of all, let me do some. So the two in the front are the ones that make the primary decision, and that is going to be Indo, and we're going to have Awald. So Awald is a virtuoso and enduring. And then we have Devinder and driven with Indo. So I'm going to say probably anything but a 2. They're going to be about just paying them off and having them leave. So Oddwald is not going to, he's not okay with it. So he's going to counter, and he's going to demand, oh, poor dude. He's going to demand that they throw their weapons to him. He will throw them food, and then when they leave, he will throw the weapons back down the hallway so they can get that. I'm going to see if with his 6 charisma, he can do this. That is a no. And I think with that, we're going to do another morale check. Because that was a pretty brazen statement. They could either react negatively or be like, this is too big of a fight, we misjudged this and we need to leave. No, they're going to go into it. Anything neutral or low, to me, would be them charging the melee. So we are going to have combat start. I need to roll their dexterity to see who goes first. I've already looked to see what the parties is, and it's like a 12. So they have to roll more than a 12 to go first. And we have a 10. Okay. So the party's going to get to go first, but these guys are going to come roaring into the fight. So we have a failed, I guess you could say like a monster reaction or whatever. Indo, who is going to have a spear. Oh, criminy. I completely forgot my card. This was supposed to be in that room 25. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say one of these guys is not equipped with a two-handed sword. He is equipped with the weapon that should have been in that room because I straight forgot. And I like the idea of them getting this through melee versus them getting this through a found object inside a room. Even though the room was a pretty good room to find it in. Okay, so they're going to be attacked. One of these guys has a spear. I'm going to put a purple dice next to him so we know he's the one with the spear. I'm going to say odd, even. So the guy in the front has a spear. So Indo has a spear, and that's why it reminded me of this. And the guy here has a spear. So they're going to attack with spears at each other. Indo's going to get to go first. So here is Indo's attack. That is cocked. And that is a nat 20 of all the times to roll a nat 20. And my stupid camera has froze. Or has it? No, it has not froze. I was looking at the wrong thing. We do have a nat 20, as you can see there. A little bit of light, but you can see that. That is a nat 20. Can't even see it in that camera. It's there. We're going to roll the pink dice from now on. So Indo's going to do that. Spears do a d6. So he gets 2d6. I only have one of the pinks, so I'm going to roll it twice. So we have 3. And 5 is 8. Eight hit points is more than this berserker will have, and he will die. This berserker here is going to still be there. I'm going to have Alwald go over here, and he's going to sling him. That will hit. It's going to do a d4. That is 4 points of damage. And is that more than what he has? Jamie, Christmas has exactly what he has. And with a sling, he's going to take this guy out. So that was really kind of embarrassing for those guys. I'm going to give these 3 here a sort of a perception check. So we're going to roll below their wisdom. So that would be... I'm pretty sure Indo failed, but I'm pretty sure that both the clerics made it. Right, let me look at what Indo has for a wisdom. Pretty good wisdom, but a 15 still fails. So both the clerics will be like, Indo, is that a better spear than what you have? Because it's going to look different. Hands down, it's just going to look different. And Indo's going to be like, yes. Now, is he going to take precautions? I'm going to roll 2 dice. Pink is wild. And I didn't say that low was going to be like a wild. And it's, yeah, he's going to take some precautions. So he's going to use a spear to roll it on top of like a tapestry, one of the tapestries. He's going to wrap it up inside the tapestry and don't touch this thing at all. And he's going to sneak it out. But I am going to put, first of all, I need to get this. So there was no monstrous encounters. So we have that. So these are, I'm going to put over here somewhere. And then this I'm going to put separate. The envelope stuff is a really good idea, but I can see where some of the problems are going to be with it already. I just need to add some polish to it. All right, so they have made it out of this. They've killed the 2 berserkers. So I'm going to go and write that down. 2 berserkers down. And we have one more random monster encounter as they are leaving. Literally as they are leaving. So what makes this spear look different? Why would there be any concern about whether it's enchanted or cursed or whatever? I think we're going to have to figure that out. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to do a Google search for magical spear. And I'm going to pick from that something that sounds narratively cool. And then that we're going to figure out what this thing looks like. So give me 1 second while I go to my main computer here. Okay, so the way this spear is going to look different and definitely look like it's got some sort of magic to it is that the spear is not of standard quality. The tip is going to have sections taken out with a supporting center in it. And then that's going to be like Damascus steel, but this is going to have an insert in the middle of it that's going to have a very thinly sliced gem. And you can tell it's a gem because it's faceted and it's actually inset into the spear itself. And I'm going to say that spear is an emerald inside there. So he's going to have this emerald inset inside the spear, inside the actual blade itself. And it's going to be wider in the blade, but not by a lot. Not enough that it's actually going to be a huge problem if it were to strike something fairly hard. It would go around that that spear surface pretty easily. Just pour me a little bit of a drink here. A little bit of. I was out in the heat all day, so I want something that's got like a little electrolytes in it. So I've got me like not an energy drink, but like a sports drink, almost like a Gatorade. It's like cherry or red or something. Fruit punch, that's what it is. Okay, so that's what that encounter is. That's what that one is. Now, right as they get near the exit, there's going to be a secondary encounter. So we're going to have that look a lot like this. They're walking out the door. We are on round 6. They cross through a doorway here, which we're going to have to roll to see about opening doors. So we're going to give them a hear noise. So the Indo would hear if there's anything, and then what about odd? No, because they both would have the ability. No, actually, the cleric doesn't. He needs a 1, not a 2. So that doesn't work for him. But Indo would. And I'm going to give that a check here in a second. So here's for what it is. Number 6. So we know it to be berserkers. And I'm going to say there's 1. There's a 1 to 2. That's all there is. And when the party opens the door, they're going to see his berserker. And I'm going to say, unless he rolls something incredibly low, he's not fighting a party. He's going to run away. Yeah. So he's going to book it out of there and leave. And then I'm going to say that's good for that. Now, they are out of the dungeon. I'm going to switch camera angles real quick. And we'll go through some narration. Okay, so we have a few things going on. And kind of work our way through it. So we're going to have to do a wandering monster encounter on the way back for sure. They're going to get back to the Village of X head tower. They're going to spend a week. They're going to be going over some recovery. They're going to see about this spear and see what they want to do. They have to decide what they're going to do with these tapestries and that type of stuff. But first, let's go ahead and make that roll for a wandering monster. You're just going to have to play it by ear or take my word on it. Yeah, so we're good. They get back to basically where the inn would be. Now, they've only been gone a few hours. So it's not too many hours. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put these miniatures over here like they were. And then we'll figure it out. So they've not been gone for too long. I mean, basically a day. And in that day, they were able to, it was like, gotta figure it out. It was almost 3 hours plus a half day there and a half day back. So it's going to be late on the first day because they didn't spend all night in the outside of there, and they were trying to get the evangelist back to the place he can be properly buried and that type of thing. So they get back. It's late at night. They find a place to go ahead and put the evangelist, give him proper care and rest, and then they're going to go ahead from there and do the rest of this. So we have several items, which I'm not going to go into gold value them yet. I think we have to establish when do they get the gold value. And I think that's a fair point to make. So my thoughts are this: when they sell an item, when they donate the item, or they have some place to put the item. Now, kind of what they're doing is a little bit, I won't say incognito. I mean, everyone here knows where they're going. But the question is, does anyone outside of here know where they're going? I'm going to say no. Probably not. It's probably not something that's spoken of a lot of. The question is, whoever this R guy is, they don't necessarily know who that is. They know who one of them is, the Zolliger. And maybe they've heard of Zolliger's partner, the Barbarian. But they may not know who that is. But they know it's a Melissa. Are they wanting to keep any of these people's stuff, or they want to sell it to maybe the tillers to see what they can get for it in value? And I think that makes a lot of sense. However, we're going to say that shipments don't go out every day. So the shipment will go out, they'll get paid, and then the week following, they'll go ahead and get the shipment back, which would be how much they're being paid. And it's probably going to be not gold weight, it's probably going to be like a bond. Like they have a bond for this amount of coin that they can then use to buy things. That's stored at Castle Tiller. So they're not transporting coins back and forth. And then that will be something that they work out with. And as long as they don't turn against the tillers, they'll be fine. But this will be what they're going to do. And then one of the benefits that they're going to want is how to increase that travel time so they're not waiting a week there and a week back to find out what they got paid so they can get the XP for it. So right now, we're going to have a week pass, which means all this healing needs to be done. It's going to be done, and all the so all the recovery is going to be there. They're going to be help modify what's going on at the base. There is a vermin problem, so we're going to solve that problem today as like a little bit of a downtime activity, and then from there they'll go ahead and figure that out, and then go ahead and go back to the actual stronghold they were at, and we'll continue doing that. So we're going to make a few decisions. So if anyone's here watching, and it looks like we have 2 people currently watching right now, I'm interested in what your thoughts are, and I'm going to put today's reward with that picture that I have that I've kind of imagined this to be. You'll kind of get the idea of what the spear is going to look like. That spear is going to be magical. Indo is going to try it. He's going to kind of check it out. He'll have the priest Oddbert. He'll have him cast some spells to kind of divine what's going on here. It is magical. We know that. Can't really tell what type of magic it is, but he'll do like a detect good. It comes back as not good or evil, so that's a positive. So Indo, with enough trust, is going to go ahead and start to use this weapon and see if he likes it. And he likes it. He likes it a lot. Matter of fact, he's never wielded something so powerful in his life. And everyone that watches him use it, doesn't think it's cursed or that it's a problem. They are encouraged by what it does and how it does. Yeah, he got himself a pretty nice weapon. I'll go ahead and show it to you. That's kind of crazy, huh? A +2 spear. That's not put there by me. Well, I mean, technically it is. But that's put there by the module. If you remember in that one section, all the monsters, all the loot in the rooms, well, most of the loot in the rooms, most of the monsters is not rolled for. It has a section there where it has monster, colon, and it has treasure and location, colon. And it's meant that you're literally supposed to go through there and write it and put what it is and draw it. So I've done this card system, and there's lists that you pull from. There's 56 rooms. And apparently, in room number 25, there was a +2 spear. As crazy as that is. Things like that could have happened, and I thought that'd be really crazy if it did, and one of those things did happen. So, let me go ahead and describe a situation, and we're going to leave it, and then we're going to see how things come back. It's one of the polls I'm going to put up for this week. This is going to be the parallel campaign that's running with this one called The Shadow of the Tower. Or the Shadow of, I think the Shadow of the Tower is what I wrote. And basically what it is there is a group of vermin, mostly rats, that are inhabiting the buildings in this area, including the basement of the inn where they're wanting to stay. During the daytime hours, the rats are gone, all the vermin are gone. It's no problem. It's at night. These things interfered with their first night stay by coming and probing or looking at the guards while they're pulling guard duty, and it really made things difficult in the first night. This is the second day because they basically got there and spent the night, right? And now they're trying to figure this out, and they've seen these rats around, but they don't know really where or what they have to do to get rid of it yet. So the question is the party going to participate in this, or are they going to allow the people who work here to do that? Also, we need to go ahead and see about hiring someone. So let me go ahead and get my charts out, and I'm going to switch cameras real quick. Oh, this thing pulls up. Okay. So going in the back, next to where the magic items are, there is a bunch of henchmen and characters and whatnot. They even have their own character personality traits and whatnot. And they get into it. I'm going to show you that +2 spear though. Right there. +2 spear. Can you see that? I think that's seeable. So item number J is a +2 spear. Okay. So we're going to roll to see if there's a chance of a henchman joining the party. I'm going to do a group charisma check. So we have a 10, we have a 10, we have a 13, and we have a 6. So we're basically at 9.7, 9.6 on that. Oh, it's not based off of charisma. It's based off of players. So we have 4 players. We have a 50% chance that 1 or 2 henchmen will be available. I'm going to say there's a 75% chance because they are working with the tillers, and a lot of these guys came here to potentially be backups. So we have a 23% chance of that happening based on the backstory. They would have made it either way. I'm going to say that right now there is one henchman, and I need to roll which type it is. So I need to roll a d12. 7. 7 is going to be a thief, so I go over to the thief chart. I roll a d12 again. Number 9. So this is Harg of the city afar. Okay. Over here, I have all the different potential NPCs that we could potentially have. So we're looking for a thief. I've already done character sheets on all of them. This was a fair bit of work on my part, but as you can see, it's going to hopefully make it very nice. The 9th one. No, this is... Hey. Sorry. I saw a person with a 9 strength. So 9 is Pastu, the elf. So we have Pastu the elf. So we find, thank goodness, Pastu the elf. Harg is not the 9th one. Harg is the 10th one with a 9 strength. Let me grab an elf. Ooh, I can use my new elf. I think. No, my new elf has plate mail. Ironically, we were going to use an elf with a spear. And that's going to be Pastu. Pastu is a new elf. It's a new member of the party. So it's going to be number 4. Okay. Now we need to go back here and roll for personality stuff. This particular, make sure. So I've already rolled gear, and I've already got his magic. So he knows light, detect magic, magic missile, and that's the spells he knows. He has a dagger and leather. I'm going to say a spear too, because the miniature has a spear. Look and see how many personality stuff do we have. I'm going to say we're going to roll 1 for each. We have attitude, courage, disposition, and loyalty. So here is the I'm already not a fan of this. Here's for the attitude. That's a 3. Helpful and cooperative. Okay. Here's for the courage. 4. Normal. So I don't feel like, and those normal stuff, I'm not going to put anything down. Disposition. 6. Unselfish. Oh, and I should say she, because it's a female. And then last one is loyalty. 4. Normal. Okay. So here's I'm going to just switch real quick back. So here's why I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't like the fact it's a single D6. I feel like you could really paint yourself into a corner quickly with that, and it would not be enjoyable. I'm glad she was helpful and unselfish. I'm probably going to work farther into that. What I like about that is if you're doing like an army or you're hiring a bunch of henchmen, I think something like that's fine. It gives you enough to work off of. I don't like it as a character for a group. So I'm going to go ahead and roll real quickly on the personality traits for what I have, which are going to be some D20 rolls. And we will do 2 D20 rolls for that, for personality types and behaviors. Let me switch back. I got that list right here, so you can see. All right, personality. Number 7. She's a consul. So, and then for behavior, 3. Tense. So she is not at ease with what she is doing or where she's going or the fact she's around non-elves. And that's probably a little bit of the thing. I'm still working out how I'm doing my personality stuff, but I really do like kind of the blending of these two things. As a thief and being an elf, technically it doesn't exist in BLUEHOLME. The elves can only be technically, at least in the Prentice Rules, they can only be fighters. However, they are able to be combination classes in some ways, or whatever you want to say. So she is a thief and she is a magic user, which means that she does a D4 and a D4 average into a D4 for hit points. So she'll be a D4 hit points. And I did not write down all of her locks and all that. And here's what I was saying earlier. There is no difference between what hers or what evangelists will have for their open locks or climb surfaces. So she will have an 80. Hear noise would be a 35. Hide in shadows is a 10. Remove traps is a 10. I wrote this down a little bit in the wrong order. Remove silent is a 20. Open locks is a 15. Pickpockets is a 20. Read languages is a 35. Read scroll is a 5. Use wand is a 5. And I'd say use wand as a elf that can cast magic. You're talking about non-magical or non-magic user wands. So like wands of healing and whatnot with the use magical wand roll. I don't know what our saves are yet. We'll see if I even need that. But we have pastu, which is different than the way the language is spelled. I know there's a language called pastu. I didn't name this character. This is directly out of the naming convention that was in B1. Those are literally characters that were named there. Okay, so let me go ahead and switch back real quick one more time. So what are we looking at here? We're going to spend a week. They're going to be, yeah, spear of backbiting. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, that spear would have been devastating against any of the party members, by the way, which I'm glad it was used in melee against us and not something that was just found in an empty room. Yeah, I kind of like that. But basically, we're going to spend a week here. We're going to get healed up. Some advancements are going to go. We'll talk about that kind of in the community posts. Still a lot of cleans going on and a thought process on what they're going to do with these vermin. And I'll kind of roll some back story of like what's going on with everyone and that type of thing. And then we'll go ahead and figure that out. And then we will figure out in future weeks what we're doing. We're still doing a week in between leaving and going off to heal, unless we are going to do a quick turnaround, and then we'll play that by ear. So we're going to go and do a wandering monster check to go back. I'm going to roll real quickly for if any of the dungeon changed. I need to roll for specific rooms. And then we'll go ahead and see. We've only gone a week, so I don't think the dungeon's going to react that strongly, but I am going to roll a couple times just to see what that's like. And then we're going to do a wandering monster counter on the way back to see if anything has changed that way. I'm going to switch cameras. Okay. So here is the wandering monster encounter going back. We do have a wandering monster counter. Outstanding. Let me get the BLUEHOLME book up on my PDF. Okay, so here's an interesting thing. I'm going to switch cameras again just for a second. Sorry. Okay, so here's the interesting thing. The BLUEHOLME Prentice Rules focus on the underworld. There is no above world encounters. So I'm not going to say it's a thing, but what I am going to do is I'm going to have a chance encounter with one of the factions that's going to become more of an important thing in the future. And it's not necessarily going to be a combative thing, but I want them to kind of get into knowing what's around here. So there are lizardmen, there are cavemen, and there are berserkers. There's a tribe of berserkers that's different than the ones that are fighting inside of B1. They're clearly different. They're tattoos are different. Their war paint is different, for lack of a better word. So they're going to be different entirely. And we'll just kind of play it by ear which one it is. So I'm going to roll. We're going to say that there's a D8 on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are going to be the ones in lizardmen, cavemen, or Neanderthals, or berserkers. And then on a 7, 8, it's going to be something different. And then we're going to go ahead and roll to see kind of what it is, and I'll just do those rolls as we get there, if that makes sense. All right, let me switch. Come on. All right, so here's my D8 roll. 8. Of course, we got something different. This is not a bad thing. I'm going to roll a D8 again. High is good, low is bad. Okay, so we're in the middle-ish, middle-low. I'm going to say that they have a wagon, or they're not taking a wagon. Weather? I was thinking middle would be delay of some nature. Middle low is delay. So I think we're going to go with a delay because of weather. I'm going to actually, here we go. Something has cut a tree down, and now they have to navigate a way around it. It's not that they can't crawl over it. It's that where it is a huge hindrance for the rocks that could slide down around them, and would make it a difficult thing for them to navigate. So getting it off the pathway is going to make it so no one has to make a dexterity check or potentially go sliding down the side of the hill. So it's worth that than having the potential of them having that happen, or on the way back having to find a new way, or have that as a potential problem and have to make that check in the way back when you're potentially carrying stuff. Yeah, so we'll get that figured out. So here's what they're going to do. They're going to spend some time. Here is for, I'm going to roll this. This is going to be for luck. So they're on the unlucky side. It's going to require some intelligence, which they're good on, and some strength, which they are good on. So it's going to take them time. That means they're going to have to make camp, which means they're going to have a random monster encounter at night. That's cocked. That means they are fine. So they make it throughout the night. They spend the entirety of the night trying to get that timber out of the way, making camp, and then they'll be able to travel the rest of the morning to the entrance back to be able to get in there. And that's how that worked out. So not the end of the world, but pretty nice. Excuse me. All right, now I need to do a couple rolls here. Has the dungeon reacted to him? Here's for like a reaction table. I'm going to say that they are at a +2. Because of what they've killed. They've not taken out any of the bosses. But because of how much they've explored, over 25% of the first floor, I'm going to say they're at a -1, given a total of +1. So 7 + 1 is 8. That means the dungeon has not reacted to them. So if, and this is sort of my own rule, but basically, the more bosses you kill, the more bad guys you kill, gives you negatives. The more spectacular loot or whatever you get, or the fact that you sold loot, the potential people could figure out who it is. So, for example, the tapestries, when that gets out to the actual market, that could give them a negative to the roll because now people know that they exist. And that could be a problem. Am I coming through real laggy on your guys' end, or am I good and clean? Okay, so they're going to go back into the dungeon. Kind of the same thing. We're going to have to make some decisions real quick, though. Here's for a hear noise check on the first door as they come in. That's a 3 and a 6. They don't hear anything. We're going to start our encounter with 1. They're going to get to the same entrance. Is that door fixed? I'm going to say on a 1 or 2, it's fixed. Or repaired, it's not. So it's still propped open or damaged open. The question is, are they going to go back that way or are they going to go straight? I'm going to say anything but a 1 or 2, they're going to go back the way they came because there are still areas they have not been. They're going to go straight. Let me we have an elf now. Elf gets a roll just because, and the elf makes it. So they realize, let me go ahead and get this back to where we have it. Oh, and I need to add the elf to the organization chart. I'll put the elf in the back with the torch with bow. Pastu back there. Okay. The elf is going to realize that there's a secret door. So they know it goes like this. And they know there's a door here. And then they know that it goes like this. And then they know it goes like this. And it continues. So the question is, turn this down just a little bit. And there's a secret door over here that they did not know about. They've not been through it yet, but the elf is able to detect it. So the question is, what are they going to do? Essentially, they were going to go up here. When as they went to walk by, the elf was like, hold up, wait up. There's something going on here. It's like, I realize you guys have been checking out that way, and there's a secret door that's been kicked open. What about the secret door over here? And basically the prior's like, secret door over where? And now they know there's a secret door on this side. Benefit of having an elf. Elves get all time 1 in 2 chance of knowing there's a secret door, and if they're looking for a secret door, it's higher. So that is a huge, huge benefit. Give me a second here. Gotta take my medicine. Forgot that. Okay. So I think they're going to go this way because they didn't even know that existed, and now they have found something shockingly new. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of redo the room. So we're going to do a hear noise. So Indo is going to hear if there's anything there. We're on round 2, so no, or turn 2. 60 feet is a turn of them moving casually and carefully. Now we're going to go ahead and do some open doors. Here's for the 2 in the front. Nope. Here's for the torchbearer and Oddberg. Oddberg's purple, pink. So the torchbearer is going to be able to get that. This is TS. I'm keeping track of this because eventually I can see someone getting promoted, and I'm giving a little bit of XP every time they're able to open a door and that type of thing. So the door gets opened, and they're able to see that there is a hallway here that comes to a T. Unlike the other room where it went into like a four-way, this is just a T. Moving to the front, spending a few seconds to listen. It's cocked. Nothing. Technically, the percent would probably be better for Indo, but I digress. And basically, they're going to look this way. There's a pathway over here after all. And I'm going to say 4, 5, or 6, they go north. 1, 2, 3, they go south. So they are going to turn south. So again, I'm going to line these guys up on the tile and just sort of narrate as we go. Some of these hallways are more twisty and long. And I feel like there's a lot of time spent potentially trying to reposition miniatures, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I think I'm not on call this week. This is a good thing. But I still get notifications for things. Got a notification of something on Facebook I wanted to buy is available. I don't care about that. I was wanting to something other than what I was wanting became available or whatever. But one of the things I kind of got my eye out for was this character for a different setting, monster for a different setting, and I thought it'd be really cool. I got him, but I'm not doing that right now. That's many months off, probably. So I'm holding off on that. Okay. So here's what happens. The party is going to continue. They're heading south. This hallway goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It has a 10th spot. So I'm going to say it's going to take 2 turns. They're going to have a potential as they get there. We're going to switch this to 4. And we're going to roll a random monster check for at 3. We do not have a random monster check. They are now at a doorway. The door is kind of like this. So the room comes to something like this. The party's going to just slide over and check it out. Here's for the hear noise checks. So Indo would have, if there's anything to hear. I'm going to say there's nothing to hear because of what's on the other side. It's not a room or anything. But I am going to look into room number 21 because that hear noise could potentially hear that. So again, when I say that, I'm not necessarily saying there's nothing there. There just may not be anything there that is worth hearing. Okay. Like, for example, if you had an ogre in there, there's a chance you would hear an ogre. If you have 3 goblins, there's a chance you're probably not going to hear 3 goblins. So that's what I'm getting at. Okay. They continue on. It goes another 40 feet. So basically like this. And then it turns. So they're going to get to a room. It's actually more like that than anything. And this is going to be turn number 5. So turn number 5 is going to be them on the turn, after the turn. Doors like that right over here. Can't really see it. I guess you can. It's right there. But right here, there's another door. So they're going to spend turn 6 here. Here's for the random wandering monster encounter. That's a no. Here's for hear noise. That is neither one of them hearing noise. This hallway continues beyond torchlight. So I'm going to just slide this over like that, and we will know that this is all fixed and this is now not in the map. And we are on turn 6, which means that they're going to need to get new flasks of oil when they continue. So, are they going to go through this door, or are they going to continue straight? Here is for that. I'm going to say 4, 5, or 6. They'll go through the door. So they are going to go through the door. Here's for the try and open the door. Actually, we have the ability to pick locks. I need to remember that. It's 15% chance. 18 will not get it. We have a second thief. Yeah, well, actually, 18 might get it because Indo is not first level. He has a 15 chance normally, so that goes to a 20. So an 18 will get it. So he's able to pick the lock of the door. He's able to open the door, and he can see that there's a parallel wall that runs like this. There is a wall between these two. And then there is a hallway that goes like that. So we have 3 directions to go: left, north, or right. I'm going to have them do a hear noise, see if they hear anything. So Indo wood, I need to look at room number, I think that's room 20. It looked like a 10, but it's not, it's 20. Again, I'm looking to see if there's anything that would be loud. Interesting. I'm going to say that between room number 21 and 20, they do hear something. And I'm going to say that they hear this noise coming from their left. And it's going to be the sound of it's going to be the sound of something grinding and then like splintering. It's not metallic, it's not stone. It sounds a lot like wood, like someone is maybe doing some sort of carving on wood, or something of that nature. And they're not 100% sure, but it is coming from the left. So they're going to follow, actually 22, I need to look at that room too. That would be even more closer to that. There is a third room I need to pay attention to. Okay, interesting. So the question is, they're going to go left, right, left towards that noise, potentially. Are they going to go right, or are they going to go north? They're going to go to the right. The concept is nothing's coming down that way. It's a shorter hallway with a turn north. So we're going to go ahead and move the characters here. We have 20 foot. And then we have essentially like that. I'm going to say this kicks over to a new, they're not using torches, they're using bullseye lanterns, but it's going to kick over to a new flask of oil. This is a dead end. And there's a door here. And they have enough movement to get up to the door. The elf is going to walk through and see if there's anything there. I'll just give the elf a roll. Elf is not noticing anything that is worth mentioning. They're going to do a hear noise check. So in this case, Indo is not going to do it, but Awald will. I need to look up room number 21. I think one of the things we're going to do here is I'm going to go and remark the room numbers because it's really hard to see where one room ends and where another room begins. Oh my goodness. I don't have my miniatures painted for this yet, partially. That's hilarious. But I am going to have this somewhat painted. So this is 20 feet wide, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I was painting these miniatures that I got. These, well, I'll get to it in a second. And I was like, you know, it'd be really funny when they get to this room because there's going to be this thing and I'm going to have these things done. And I don't have them done. I've been painting them. But we'll go ahead and get there. So this door is going to be different, first of all. This door is going to be made of the reinforced wood as it is with all the other ones. But this one here is going to have a lot more rot and a lot more wear and tear. But it looks like it's environmental, not necessarily use. Am I in the right room? 21? Yes. Oh, no. I'm in a different room. But I'm very close to that room, and that room will come up as a thing. This is the right long, narrow room, though. Okay, so we need to do some hear noise, which we know that there was nothing heard. And I need to verify, remembering, there was not any loud monster there. Let me look at room number 21. What else is there? Okay, so the party is going to go ahead and try and open the door. Here's for opening the door. Not very good. Torch is going to be pink. So Oddbird is allowed to or able to open a door. The door gets forced out. I was going to roll percentile. Here's for Indo. Nope. And here's for Pastu. No. So they do have to force open the door. Nothing in there is going to be able to hear it. There was no actual creatures in there. This room is filled with a bunch of benches. It looks like maybe this was like a meeting hall. The ceiling's a little taller here at 15 foot tall. The sound has better acoustics and all that. Hey there, Stephen. Nice to see you again. There's a bunch of destroyed from like weather, which is a little unusual because you don't really have rain here. But there's a bunch of like moisture, dry rotted type of problems you're seeing with the things in this area. And there's about 15 different benches in there. I'm going to go ahead and give a cursory glance around the room as they kind of travel around there. They're looking for things. They're going to see that there is a bag over there. I'm going to see which one it is. So going by order, and I didn't say it, but the 6 would be one of the henchmen, not the players. So Indo's going to be the first one to notice that there is a small backpack that has some stability left in it. Giving it a look, poking it with a stick, making sure there's no things. We're going to go ahead and kick over around because of this search. They're going to see that there is a little bit of a jingle to this thing, and that this leather backpack ends up with about a gold pouch worth 10 gold inside it. And there's nothing else of any value in this room. Is the party going to spend a long time to search to see if there's any secret doors? If they do, it's going to be 2 turns. That's a lot of time. So I'm going to go ahead and roll a d6. On a 4, 5, or 6, they'll spend that time searching. No, they do not spend that time searching. Probably a good choice because it is going to be a problem. They're going to go ahead and leave and go back. Are they going to go back and go north, or are they going to go straight? Or are they going to go back out the way they came? I'm going to say there's 2 different rules. On a 1, they're going to go back out the way they came and continue the straight direction. Okay, so they are. Interesting. So they're going to come back here and they're going to go this way and go out. They're going to leave all this north and straight to the west. They're going to leave that alone. For whatever reason, they feel like the best move for them is to get back into that long hallway and continue on. I'm going to roll a wandering monster encounter. We do have a wandering monster encounter. We rolled a 1. Maybe I will be able to get those things painted before we encounter that room. We have more of those. Roll me a d4. 2. I'm just going to roll a check, and then I'm going to break the miniatures out because with that roll, they're not going to stick around. But they will be a potential of a future wandering monster. Join the Nemesis list, if you remember. So they have 2 orcs that see the party and decide to flee away from them. They will be in the general vicinity of the southwest region of this area and potentially may join back in later or become a nemesis if the party keeps running into them. Okay. The party is going to go ahead and continue. We're going to get them set up in their line like they were. This is the back. Get them kind of set up like that. All right. This goes beyond the torchlight from the door. It is 80 feet to the end, so we're actually going to tick to a 4. It then turns north. There's no doorway. And then it goes beyond the torchlight again. This one goes, it goes 90 feet, and then it gently curves left, and then starts to turn right more sharply, creating sort of a half circle. The hallway is well made and preserved. It seems to be drier out this way. You don't feel like it's as humid, maybe. And the walls are still well made, but are very curvy, if that makes sense. And as they go around the curves and they come back and they start to straighten out and they go north, again, they're going to have this thing. And they travel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So they travel 130 feet. So we're going to kick this over to a 5. And they're going to see that it starts to turn at a sharp angle to the left, which would be west. And the hallway is now more geometric than it was with the natural curve. And as they start to go that way, they don't go too far. They go 20 feet or so, and they start to realize that it's coming to like an abrupt 90-degree turn to the right. So these are very long, narrow hallways, which are a bit of a problem. And there is a door. No, I need to roll a check. They are traveling slow. Okay, so Indo's going to be able to see it before the elf does, but he finds a secret door as they're traveling. He's going to try and find and remove traps. Nope. And then we'll have Pastu. That's cocked, obviously. That is not going to be it either. So they're going to have to bust down the door if they want to get in. Oh, let me look at the elf. Elf's going to try and do it. Focusing, they get a different roll. A 6 does not matter. So they're going to have to use force to get in this door. Here is for Indo and Avon. Nope. Here's for Oddberg. Nope. Here's for the guard. Nope. Here's for the elf. Using strength. Nope. Bust to the henchman. Well, here's for Ronilda first. She's able to finesse the door. Of course. And this room is 15 feet by 15 feet. So I'm going to be having the party travel this way. And we need to roll a random encounter as they will tick over to 1. Cocked. 6 is not it. So they're like this, and then they come back like this. And then sitting off over here, so there's a 15-foot by 15-foot room. They're able to get this door open. Unfortunately, with her doing it the way she did break the door, so it's going to be wedged open. Let me read room number 11, and I got to pull the card. Okay, here's for number 11, checking the door to see if there's anything in there. Okay. So they open the door. This room is 15 feet by 15 feet. There's a bunch of crates, boxes, all the things you can imagine in here. All the supplies. There's literally extra doors. There's a bunch of things in here. Like, there are doors still on the hinges, set up, ready to go. And the party's going to have to decide what they're going to do with that. The door is now wedged open. This seems to be some sort of supply room. I'm going to say they're probably going to keep a mental note of this and come back. I'm going to say in a 1 in 6 chance, they're going to look at this and be like, the village of Axhold could use this. Other than that, they'll come back. They're going to come back. If I would have done that, I just would have rolled random encounters, taken it back, and we probably would have ended it there because there's so much stuff in here. I would have to ask community post before we went any farther. So I'm kind of glad that didn't happen. Okay, so they're going to continue on with this room. I'm just going to put this room back where it was, over here. It's literally just a supply room. So they are following this back, and then we're going to just make it so it's kind of even. And then beyond the torchlight, 60 feet up, there's another room. And they kick this to a 2. And there is two separate hallways. I'm going to put them a little bit ajar so you can see where they are. And that's a problem. And then over here, there is this as a problem. I'm going to put this back over here because they haven't searched that room. But when they come back to it, we'll figure it out. So they got 3 ways to go. I'm going to roll a d6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's cocked. Cocked. 1. Interesting. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay, so they are going to go south here. This is 30 feet, and then it gets wider. And I need to go ahead and do this up. That's actually it right there. So the party's going to turn down this way. We're going to enter turn number 3, which is going to be a wandering monster encounter. And we're going to have to figure this out. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they're going to get to here, which is 60 feet. And they're in this nice wide area. You roll a wandering monster encounter. There is no wandering monster. I need to roll 2d6. This is for both. This is for the elf. There's a door I need to add. So nada. And there's a door here. This is the first time they've ever seen anything like this. And it is different. To be completely fair, this is different. So I'm going to have them spend a turn searching here. I'm going to give the elf its roll, her roll. Give me a second here. Getting a phone call. This is my wife. 1 second. Let me mute myself real quick. Can you hear me? Yes, you can. Hey, babe. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I had this right before I rolled it. When searching, they do it on a 1 to 4 chance, not a 1 or 2 chance. So when they're passively looking, they get a 1 and 2. When they're actively searching, they get a 1 to 4. So the elf are obviously going to do it. The thieves are going to be looking around. Everyone else will be pulling basically guard. Here is for the thieves. Let me go ahead. Window is pink. This one's cocked. So no. And then here is for here's for Pastu. That is a 6. Not a single thing found. Interesting. Okay. Then we will go ahead and continue. Are they going to go this way down this hallway? Or are they going to go through this door? 4, 5, or 6 will go through the doorway. And I need to roll a wandering monster encounter, don't I? We've already rolled that. I need to look at a couple things real quick before I decide. So they're going to go down this hallway. Let me look at a couple things real quick, though. Okay. Okay. Yes, that is the right room. Okay. That is not wrong. And I think that's room number 10. I'm not a huge fan of Roman numerals, as it is hard to see it when the print is a little fuzzy. Okay. So I wanted to make sure there was nothing like super obvious as far as potential bad guys that might hear them go by and then come out and deal with them. And I believe we are good. There's nothing there that would care enough to open a door and come after, if they were to make their hear noise check. And so what's going to happen is they're going to go down this way. They're going to get to the end of this hallway, and they're going to realize, you can't see my finger, the end of this hallway over here. And they're going to realize that this is an intersection they've been to before. The question is, are they going to go back, or are they going to go a different route? So 4, 5, or 6, they'll go back, because there's a lot they haven't done back. And if 1, 2, 3, they'll go potentially one of the ways they've already been. 1 second. I'm sorry about that. So the question is, are they going to go ahead and continue on, or are they going to go back the way they came? And I need to roll 4, 5, or 6. They're going to go back on a 1, 2, or 3. They're going to go this new direction and pick maybe a different route. So they are going to go back. So they're going to come back to here. I'm going to say 4, 5, or 6, they go that way. 1, 2, 3, they go through this doorway. So they're going to go back that way. Now, if you remember, I'm going to go ahead and just put this down this way. There was a hallway and a hallway. They've not been down either one of these two hallways. When they get closer, they can tell that 50 feet down this hallway, there is some sort of thing like this. And then this one There's a hallway that comes off it like that. Except it's not 20 feet. So this is the thing I'm not a huge fan of in this dungeon, is hallways are right next to each other with no barrier in between. So that's what they know. There's a hallway that comes off this one, and this one makes a left. So 1, 2, 3, they go this way. 4, 5, 6, they come over here. So they're going to come down this way. I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to give a d6 roll. I'm just going to set these guys up on this thing because this is ridiculous. So many long hallways. And we're going to be about to another random encounter check. Getting there. I'm going to switch cameras real quick. So I'm going to do the random monster encounter checks here, but I'm going to kind of describe this room as they go, this hallway as they go. Because this little maze of like long hallways, I mean, you can see they were over here a second ago, is like really, really windy and long. And I need to be able to kind of count this as they go. And there's so many hallways. Why? I don't know. But they wanted to put, I guess, a maze in this area. So we'll go ahead and figure this out as we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 70 feet. And then it splits to the right. And then that hallway continues on. So when they get to the 6, they're going to be making another wandering monster encounter. And this will be at a Y, or a T section. So let me go ahead and roll that real quick. I'm going to switch cameras. Oops. So we are getting a random monster. We're getting more berserkers. How many? So we're going to be getting 2. I've been doing that odd even. There's a potential of 2 that come with these berserkers. I need to roll which way they come in. So that will be from behind. So I'm going to get a hear noise for these 2 over here. Pink is going to be for Ronilda. It's cocked. Ronilda does hear it. She's going to exclaim that there's, or excuse me, it's the elf. So the elf for sure hears it. But they're going to exclaim that there's someone coming from behind. And the elf is going to kick out. Give me a second. So the elf's going to exclaim that we have people coming behind us. We'll have Ronilda actually kick out some caltrops because the elf can't afford it yet. And then she's going to quickly move to where Oddberg is going to be interposed with the torchbearer will stay back, but Oddberg will be on this side of that, and this torchbearer will move back, and then the elf will kind of take position with the caltrops over here in the front, and that's essentially what we have here. And you can see here where these guys are. Indo will go ahead and pull a bow, and then Awald will go ahead and start to move up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can get to here. And Oddbird will go ahead and switch with the elf. Elf's going to use a spear. Indo has his spear. Ooh. No, I think that's going to happen. Spear. Now these guys need to make a decision what they're doing. 7. They're going to yell out, give us your biggest bag of gold or food. To which the party is going to tell them to pound sand, because this time they are prepared and they are a full team. They are well set up, actually, and they know there's no way for them to get around to their backside again, and they don't want to leave these nomads behind them. And I'm going to say these are the blood palm nomads. They tend to have their palms of their hands painted in this red ochre paint. And Oddberg will tell them, if you come towards us, we will not hesitate. You will be killed. And with that, I'm going to give him a charisma check. He fails. And they're going to continue to stand off. Another neutral. The Cleric of Light, by the name of Oddwald, will go ahead and give his taunt that they will be purified by the fire if they do not flee the light or die within it. And he will fail. Now, if they roll their lukewarm roll, they'll just basically tell them to pound sand and walk away. If they roll high, they'll run away, and if they roll low, then they will charge. So high is they're going to leave. So the barbarians, the berserkers are going to leave. They're not going to charge, but not to the satisfaction of the party, because they don't want to have them come up behind them like that again. So I think the suggestion is not to follow them, and that on a 2 or higher, they're going to kind of move around, move off this path. They see there's 2 different directions to go with the torchlight right before this encounter. And they'll move off there and kind of wait to see if the berserkers follow them. On a 1, though, they will give chase. No. Okay, so on a 4, 5, 6, they go north. So they are going to go east at the turn. I'll go ahead and set these guys up again. So we'll have Oddberg in the back. With a torch. We'll have Indo and Oswald right there. Awald over there. Berserker. And I will have Pastu take up the middle spot. Seeing how there's a spear involved, that could be a benefit. So they're now heading this way. This room goes 40 feet, which happens to be what this is. There's a 20-foot hallway here with a door. And then there is a continued hallway. Okay, I'm going to go back to my camera with me. Again, this is a maze, so just moving around the maze is kind of boring. It's a lot of miniature moving. I wish it was a little different, but this is okay. So the question is, are they going to go through the door, or are they going to bypass the door and continue down the hallway? I'm just going to roll dice. I'll just show you. It's not the end of the world. It's a 5. So that would be continue, not going through the doorway. They will listen at the door. I'm just going to roll a couple checks here. That's a 2 and a 5. So that would be Indo with the pink 2, being able to hear. He hears nothing. As a matter of fact, it sounds like it'd be a very small room. That's what he knows. They continue. There's only one way to go. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it goes 80 feet. Kicking that over to a 2. And then it turns north for 20 more feet. And then it goes 30 feet, and then it turns north again. And then I'm going to stop there because we're going to have a wandering monster encounter. And I'll go ahead and switch cameras after I set up what this would look like. Now let me switch and we'll decide. Based upon what I roll, we'll decide whether or not this is important. Here's for the wandering monster. Nope, no wandering monster, so we don't need to worry about it. Okay, so there are 4 directions to go. There's east, west, and continue north. And there's a direction, of course, they came. So I'm going to go ahead and say there's no reason to go back yet. But I will roll to see if they go east, west, or north. So we're going to, I guess I should have left the thing up where it was. But here's what we're doing. So 1, 2 is west, 3, 4 is north, and so on. So we are going to go west. We go west at very short distance, and it travels south. And then they travel to the end of that, and they realize that they are boxed in, that there is 2 dead ends at the end of a T, and that's going to take their torches another 20 minutes of maneuvering around this, what they now presume to be some sort of maze. So concerned that they don't get lost, they're going to start leaving things like the caltrops that they probably cleaned up a little bit from the last area, and kind of leave that along the way so they know which way they've been. The question is, are they going to go north here, or are they going to continue going east? They are currently traveling west. 4, 5, or 6, they go north. They are going to continue going east. It goes 40 feet east and then turns south. 10 feet south, there is a westwardly turn, they can see the end of this 30-foot hallway as it dead ends. The hallway south continues an additional 40 feet, 50 feet beyond that 10-foot curve, and then it turns west. They do not know what is down that far. The question is, are they going to check the end of that dead end, or are they going to continue? All this is potentially burning time. So a 5 is going to continue. I'm going to roll a wandering monster encounter. There's no wandering monster. They go 50 feet past that turn. It turns to the west, and it is longer than they're able to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, at 60 feet, at the very edge of the light, it turns south, and it looks like it continues heading west. They travel another 60 feet. This is going to kick them over to a 2. And the question is, are they going to turn south, which actually then cooks immediately back to go east, or are they going to continue west? So 1, 2, they go west. So they're going to go south. They're not going to go back east. That hallway goes 30 feet and then turns west. There's no other options. And they see a door. And yes, we are kicking over to a 3, which means wandering monster in check. No wandering monster check. They're going to listen, though, at this door. Endo would hear something if there is something. This is room number 37. And I need to look and see what's in room 37, the 37th envelope. Okay, sorry about that. So there is nothing as far as the story goes. Now let me go ahead and look at 37 in the cards. Okay. So the party goes ahead and tries to get the door open by using an open lock, starting with Indo. He is not good. Here's for the other thief, Pastu. Pastu is not going to be able to do it, so we're going to have to use force to get this door open. Here is for the first two, nope. Second two, nope. No. All right. So now they have to make a decision. Everyone's tried to get this door open. The question is, are they going to bust down this door?
Yes. Keep asking me. No, it's just gonna keep the band-aid. No,
Or are they going to go ahead and just leave it because it's too hard to open? I'm going to say 4, 5, or 6, they'll bust down the door. They are going to bust down the door. Okay, so they go ahead and hit the door. They're going to be able to do it. I'm going to give everything within 60 feet a hear noise. So I need to look in that room. I need to look in that room. Well, because they happen to be in a maze, this is not a terrible thing. There's only a couple rooms. Interesting. Okay, so there's that. Now I need to look at the cards. Okay. So we do not have anything in there on that one. What was the other one? Yes, number 5. Okay, I'm going to give some hear noise checks. If there's anything in either one of these two rooms, I'm going to roll 2 dice. One of these is for one room, one of these is for the other room. All right, I'm going to give another roll in case if they did hear in that 2, that there'd be a monster reaction, just in case. Okay, so they bust down the door and they get inside. Let me go ahead and change cameras real quick. I think we're going to end here with this description, and then we'll go ahead and come back to this next week, and we'll follow out from here. But what basically this is this room, which is massive. It is 60 feet by 20 feet, and it's a 20-foot ceiling. This room is filled with all sorts of like activity things. There's it looks like a target for like bows. There's a bunch of like weights. There's a bar that's suspended across this 20-foot wide thing that's about 7 feet off the ground. That it looks to be for some sort of like activity for like pulling yourself up. There's a rope that goes from the floor to the ceiling. There's several which you could only imagine as like weights to like be exercised with. There's no bows in here, but you do see that there is a section over there where combat probably was taking place with battered shields, extra swords, axes, that type of stuff. all over there on the one side of the room. So this was some sort of thing there. What you do see, though, is when they search this room, and we're going to go ahead and jump this to round number 5, because for sure this room is so different, they would search it. And there is no actual secret loot here, but I am going to say that there is a bag where someone apparently put themselves in here and then they didn't make it for whatever reason, and they perished. And inside the bag, next to a skeleton, there's going to be someone's personal loot of about 150, 200 silver coins. And they'll go ahead and take that on with them. And everything else will basically be here. The door is busted down, so they can stay here, but there's nothing to keep the wilderness out, shall we say, the dungeon creatures out. So we're going to go ahead and just basically leave it like this. Anyways, guys, I'm going to be doing a couple community posts talking about this moving forward, about some of the decisions we have to make, and we will go from there. Thank you for watching this video. Keep rolling those dice, and see you guys in the next one.